Welcome, guys, to the MMOs.com podcast. This is episode 93, and this is Altai, joined this week by...
Omer.
Gumble.
Matt.
All right, and we have a great podcast this week. A lot of fun Revelation discussion coming up soon, but of course, we got to start with the weekly raid, which is a great topic, so take it away, Gumby.
You mean a great distraction.
A great distraction. I love great
It's a
distraction.
great distraction. Well, here at MMOs.com, we love to talk about bad games. I think I like talking about bad games more than I like talking about good games. But this week, we're going to limit our I don't have the word. We're going to limit our bad game discussion to Steam. We want to know what the worst MMORPG you've ever played or seen on Steam is. And I've seen a lot of these. When I was making YouTube videos, the only thing I did was play bad games. And I actually made a list of some bad Steam games. And we don't want you, I just want to be clear here, if you decide to answer, we don't want, AAA studio games. I don't know if WildStar is really a fair answer. I want to know like the bottom of the barrel. So if you look at this list, my personal pick is a game called Thanatos, the Dragon Chaser. It's actually been taken off Steam now. It was an absolute abysmal game. It took about 5 minutes to load in. I actually made a video for it. And basically, the game played itself, and it was all about voluptuous characters and selling sex to get you to keep playing the game. It was actually touted when it released as the low-impact MMORPG. So it was designed so that you wouldn't feel overwhelmed by the mechanics in the game. The only redeeming part about it was that when you killed a mob, they exploded into a bath of blood. Other than that, it was total garbage. I'm actually... I don't know if I'm happy or sad to say the game no longer exists, but it was Duke.
Gumby, I'm liking what I see. I'm looking at your video, and oh my god, the giant hits. I am.
Scroll through it, and you can scroll to the middle. You can see combat. Basically, the game played itself for you, and things were just laggy the whole time.
It doesn't look that bad, like graphic-wise.
No.
I've seen worse.
Yeah, there's definitely worse graphic-wise. But I promise you it was an absolute horrid experience, though I did get a good laugh.
All right.
I think I'm gonna one up you, Gumby.
Go ahead, please.
It's on Steam right now. That's a one up already. All right. So let's just appreciate this beautiful Steam video right from the get go. I mean, you gotta let the music play at the beginning for a little bit. You got this nice black background. You got the history of the game. It's called Khan Absolute Power. Just look at the Mongols first swept through Europe on the Grand Campaign in the 1220s. We're getting some history lessons. It's really setting the tone. It looks beautiful. I mean, it's really setting the tone. It's halted by Genghis Khan's death in 1227 when the hordes withdrew, and then you see the gameplay.
All right,
and
Grandpa.
it all goes to shit.
All right,
I like the fan art in the trailer.
Wow.
That's my favorite part.
So
this looks like Meridian.
does this have to be one we've personally played?
No. You could have just witnessed it. It's okay.
Hold on.
Okay,
look at these graphics, though. They're so bad. And the game is... This is one of those games... This launched in, 2016 on Steam? What were they thinking?
They were thinking, can we get this on Steam?
One, it's a private server. How a private server got on Steam for an old game, who knows, right?
Yeah, it's a mystery.
It's unbelievable. This is unapproachable, too. Yeah, that's my worst Steam game.
I guess, so I think the one that I've played that's the worst probably, I'm just going to go with what I've played that's on Steam right now, is probably Nebula Online, and that's because if you just take Eve, you give it levels, you give it modular ships with a weird system of upgrading, where you replace parts of your ship and it's your gear, and make it kind of a little janky, have graphics that are like a mobile game because it is a mobile game, and make it so that just moving around is painful and slow, then that's about what you get. And I mean, just look at the way you move around in the trailer there. I mean, it's pretty painful to play.
You forgot the best part. You could play a game like Eve that's free right now, or you could pay to play this. It's $5.
Oh yeah, I did forget that.
And this game actually has mostly negative reviews, whereas my game had mixed reviews. So
Mixed.
I mean, Steam says this one's worse.
All right, for me, it's a toss-up. And I'll go with one we actually played on together, Hero Online. You guys remember that?
Oh, that was a great game.
I think I stuck that one from my memory.
That's not on Steam.
Not yet.
Not yet. It's coming.
It may be. if it gets greenlit. Do you really think it's gonna get greenlit?
Asset flips have gotten greenlit.
I'll give it. I'll let this one slide. I'll let this one
All
slide
right.
because I picked something that wasn't on Steam. So go ahead. Not
Okay.
anymore. My game was shut down.
So this
Oh, it
game,
was shut down.
this game is coming to Steam, and this is the video they put up on their greenlight page, right, Omar?
Mhm.
The one you
Yeah,
linked?
I linked
Okay.
it.
Look at all these.
This is the video they decided to use to promote their greenlight page. You'll notice a complete apps. There's no real gameplay here because they don't want you to see the game.
But what's remarkable is why is it 240p? And this video was uploaded by the Korean developer on February 20th of 2017. So they dug through their archives of in-game footage, of their art, and like we found this nice 5 MB 240p file. This is a great representation of Hero Online. All right, let's slap it together. Look at it. It's pixelated. It's like 10 FPS. What is this?
They should have used our Sunday Funday video.
Yeah.
They really should have.
You know what's funny? I didn't know what this game was until I actually looked at our video. I completely forgot about this one.
I played this when I was
Is that
in
what the game
Turkey.
looks like?
Yeah. This is what the video looks like.
I'm laughing at the part where it's like sepia tone and it's like this is back in the past, even though it's recorded in the exact same present. It's like if somebody walked outside today, recorded a video, like trying to make it like look kind of old school by like they found like a rundown building that like just never got knocked over because no one bought the land in like 100 years, and they just go, "This is back in the past," and put sepia tone over it, and it's just what?
My mind is blown that they want to launch this game on Steam with these graphics. This is like the least effort Steam greenlight campaign I've ever seen.
No, it is not.
No,
I
it's
can
not.
assure you
Okay,
that.
You have
Fine,
not
fine.
seen. You have not seen some low effort.
No, you have not paid attention to Greenlight at
Yeah.
all, where people have literally put up pictures that they probably took off of the internet, and they're just pictures of people, right? And it's like, this is a game.
What was that Chinese game with like
was
with the
just thinking
awful
of that.
translations that we talked about in a previous podcast?
Earth Online.
So I retract, fine. But for a company
Okay, no,
that's
that
actually
is a
pretty big.
high effort one. That was
Yeah.
a high effort one. It was just not a good idea because it wasn't a game. But this is not the lowest effort. But I think the thing that you're missing here is that it's a bad idea to put it on Greenlight, not because it's old or bad, right? It's because they haven't updated it in years in the West.
Mhm.
It literally hasn't been updated in the West. Like, it's huge other places still. It's really big in Korea still, and it's getting updates there. So is Scions of Fate, which is known as Yogong over there. But it hasn't been updated in the West in ages.
I want to defend this game for a minute. Why do you think look? It wasn't that bad. Come on. It was playable.
Hold up.
I'm holding up.
Okay, so us four played it, right?
Okay.
Now, Gumball and Matt, give me your honest opinion of Hero Online.
Way
What-
past its prime.
It is so outdated, it's not even funny.
There you go.
But isn't there's so many worse games?
Okay, Omer, I'm going to quote you from numerous other videos.
Go for it. Quote me.
Playable isn't good enough.
I agree. Okay. But the key question was the worst game on Steam. Your worst MMORPG.
What happened to other?
It's a high bar. Worst, you know? It's bad. I'm not saying it's good. I don't think anyone didn't say it's good, unless you're a diehard Hero Online fan. I apologize if I'm offending you, but I don't think no one's like. It's not a good game, but it's not the worst game.
Okay.
It's a bad game.
No, anyway, I think your game, the one you said, was playable too. The Genghis Khan.
Okay, somebody mentioned a great one. I have to mention Otherland. Otherland they launched on Steam. I paid $10 or $20 for this piece of shit game because I did a first look video for it. I wanted to do it right when it came out, and it was literally unplayable. One, all the Steam reviews are fake and paid. We exposed them.
Not all of them.
Okay, not
It was
all of
about
them,
80.
but 80%. All right. Oh,
No, 80,
whatever.
not 80%. 80.
But there was only like 120 at the time when I put the thing up. Anyway, when I say all, I don't literally mean all anyway. But the game was literally unplayable. You would get stuck in the tutorial, and the tutorial was pretty lengthy. And at a certain point, like the place you hand in your quest, the NPC would bug out, and you just can't hand in your quest. I had to remake my own character 3 times to get past the tutorial. Like during the first look, I'd get stuck and I'd stop because did I get stuck? What happened? And I would have to remake. And the game cost money too. It was an unmitigated disaster. At least Hero Online was playable. I'm calling it right now. Hero Online is a better game than Otherland.
You know what's
Otherland, come at me.
Well, it was. Otherland works now.
Otherland?
Okay.
Too late.
The problem with Otherland is even if you look at Steam now, if you look at recent reviews, it says very negative. I don't think I've ever seen the words very negative. I've seen negative.
Yeah, no, they're all over the place.
Oh, okay. Maybe I just didn't notice.
There's the overwhelmingly negative. That's a fun one.
Yes, that's one too.
Yep.
Otherland works now. It's just not a good game.
Hold on, look at these reviews. People are saying it doesn't work.
The recent ones?
Yeah, look at the.
Well, maybe they
February 6th
shut
and
down the
7th. They just
servers
don't
without
work.
telling anybody. They might have shut down the servers without telling anybody. But anyways, when it was last online, at least, it worked. I remember that. But the problem is that you made an MMORPG based on a series that is set in virtual reality. I mean, you literally can't do it right. And what's more, instead of making like a sandbox game, they made a theme park game. So I mean, it was bound to have negative reviews regardless of what they did.
Guys,
I can't give this game at all pass. They
Guys.
charge money.
if a tree in an empty MMORPG server despawns, does it make a noise?
It doesn't make a
It
noise
goes-
to begin with.
Matt, you're overthinking it. That's deep. That's deep.
You know what's funny, boys? We may not be able to have this conversation a year from now because with lacking Steam Greenlight may kill a lot of shitty games, but now that it's disappearing, we're gonna get Steam Direct. So hopefully, I hope this isn't the last time we get to talk about shitty games. I hope they still weasel their way through it, and I'm
What
sure
are you
they
talking
will.
about? I mean, I know that people jokingly pay 100 and they wouldn't jokingly pay like 5,000, but if they keep it relatively low, they're still gonna pay it as a
Yeah,
joke.
yeah. We shall see.
There's gonna be someone with a trust fund somewhere that's just gonna sit down and go, you know what? I'm gonna blow my trust fund on this shitty game, man.
troll the gamers. I think the Earth Online was my favorite. I linked it in the chat if anyone wants to look at it later. But yeah, there's a lot of Dukers out there, and I agree with Gumby's sentiment. We need more Dukers. Dukers are fun to poke fun at. Without the Dukers, there are no good games. All right, everything's relative.
Yeah, without garbage, but how will we know what's good?
No,
Speaking of how do we know what's good, I think we should talk about the biggest legit MMORPG launch of this year so far. And what could that be, boys? Oh, it's the Chinese MMORPG Revelation Online, which is currently in early access. I think we've all had a chance to play it. So I
is
was
it
hoping
term
to
early
hear-
access or founders beta? What's the official lingo for this?
I don't know. Should we discuss that
Just
first?
call it open beta. Just call it open beta. It's open beta.
Yeah, it's
It
open
is
beta.
exactly open beta,
All right,
except
fine.
you have
Open
to pay
beta.
to get in.
That's not very open then.
No, but here's the difference though. If you have to pay for a game to begin with, it's still open beta. But
All right.
anyways,
Fair enough.
it's basically open beta. Anyways,
So let's talk
moving
about the
on.
biggest meme game of the year, Revelation Online. I haven't really talked to you guys too much about it. I know we've all been kind of playing it, so I want to hear what everyone's thoughts are so far in these last 2 days of the game being in open beta.
Oh, so I'm gonna say right off the bat, I like it a lot more than last time I played it, purely because it's running at 60 frames per second at almost the highest graphics on the new computer, and I mean the graphics difference is shocking. Like, I mean, I know that what they change, it's not large in number when you scale down the graphics, but it looks so much different. And I mean, it was ugly before. Like, it was so ugly when on the setting that I had to run it on my old computer. But I mean, it runs fine now, except they still have optimization issues, and that's killing me, because if you if you unblock everyone and there are like 20 to 30 people in the area, even just like 30 people, right, and a few more loading in, it'll drop to like almost 20 frames per second at times. I mean, I'm not kidding. It's terrible.
Wow.
I mean, you guys know my specs. It's doing it on that.
Also,
And-
it is an optimization issue because I've actually been running the game super fluidly, 60 FPS, no issues. But again, it is an optimization problem. You know, every computer reacts differently. Even though we both have high-end specs, you could run Blast perfectly, and I couldn't.
yeah.
Yeah, Blast was
So
a
it's-
disaster for me, and I had the same experience with Revelation of Zomar, where no matter what, even in town, not a single second of stutter. No, buttery smooth the whole way.
And the other thing I was going to say is that the more I play it, the more I feel the effects of the average Chinese game on it. And what I mean by that is, like, dungeons are small and unexciting as in a large portion of them. You've got that heavy focus on dailies and large amount of activities that it tries to overload you with, so that you're never doing the same thing for too long. It wants you to constantly be cycling through content. Just like every Chinese browser game, when you get to a certain point, it just wants you to constantly cycle through the content all the time. You have, what was it? I don't know. It's just the more I play it, the more I feel like the effects of the Chinese game industry on it. And that's not particularly a bad thing, because this is more of a traditional MMORPG. It plays more like a traditional MMORPG. You progress more like it, but you can really feel the effects a lot more than I thought you could before. And if you've played a lot of Chinese browser games, I know that Sean has. He'll probably go through it and eventually feel that at some point. But yeah, overall, I have been enjoying it a lot more than.
All right, I'll take it away too. I've been playing it. I'm only level 31 right now because I started playing last night and I streamed for like 4 hours. And I played a little bit this morning. I'm actually having a lot of fun. I only played in closed beta 1 before. So from closed beta 1 to actual open beta is a massive increase. The translations are much better. And even though some parts of the interface is still left untranslated, it's largely no big deal and it's going to be fixed later on. But almost everything is translated. It runs super smoothly, whereas for me, it didn't run smoothly in closed beta 1, but it is running much nicer now. It's a really pretty game. You can see the vast scalness, the persistent world, you can fly around. I'm having a lot of fun with the game so far, and I actually predict it's going to do really well. Firstly, you look around the game, it's mega packed. Anyone you see in the game today are people that already shelled out money for at least one of the Founders Packs. And even despite that, there are people everywhere. There are 3 NA servers, and I think 2 or 3 European servers. And I'm playing on Darkfall. If anybody wants to play on Darkfall in North America. It's mega packed. You see people. It's just unbelievable how many people are still playing this game. And these guys probably all played in CBT1 as well. So it's retaining players, I think. And I think it's going to do remarkably well for the exact reason Matt mentioned its Chinese roots do show a lot. But Westerners and people playing this game aren't used to Chinese MMORPGs. I mean, we've seen so many Korean MMORPGs launch over the last couple of years. It's almost become like a meme. Just another Korean grinder, generic. But we haven't seen Chinese MMORPGs in America. The last time we see a big blitz of these games was back when Perfect World was pushing them out. Jade Dynasty, Perfect World, Ether Saga. Those games all came out like over 5 years ago. There's been a huge lull since. I think Revelation Online will fill a void. And because it's different, Chinese game design is distinctly different than Korean game design. And some of the mechanics are a bit odd. I mean, they throw a lot of shit at you. Like you have so many weird kinds of dailies to always try to mix things up. You have like different kinds of currencies. There's a lot going on, and it's a little odd, but it's different, and people are craving different. I think it's going to do really well because of that. And so far, again, only level 30. I'm having a lot of fun.
Okay, so what you said about Perfect World, though, I think the problem with Perfect World is that they were all the same game, basically. Just
they were.
They had different systems, but they weren't different enough. Yeah, they were all basically the same game. But I think the one thing, speaking of the difference between these games, that really kills me is the way that a lot of Chinese games organize the interface. I get so fucking lost in the interface sometimes.
Me too. I 100% agree with you, Matt. They throw so much shit at you that the interface gets a little confusing. You don't really learn it on your own. You got to figure it out. It takes a long time.
And then you've got the way it organizes it in Revelation. You've got those buttons at the bottom, and they have like 3 tabs you can click on, and none of them are related sometimes. And I'm like, why is this under this? Anyways, I'll let someone else talk.
Yeah, Gumby and Erhan.
My take. First of all, I'll preface by saying I bought the Founders Pack, the $18 one. I don't regret it. Having a relatively good time. I wouldn't say lots of fun. Here's my problem. The first, I'd say 3 hours. I think it would be generous to call it gameplay. Okay, I
agree.
You auto walk into your quest, which, by the way, I'm thankful that there is an auto walk because it's just so basic. You're just running back and forth, killing maybe one mob with like that can't kill you, over and over. You're just kind of running around, following the little story. For the first 3 hours, nothing presents any meaningful challenge. There's no real. One of my definitions of a game is there has to be a loss condition, right? Win-loss. That's a game. Otherwise, it's a story or movie, right? And I don't feel the first 3 hours of this game is a game.
No, it's a tutorial.
Oh, that doesn't end. You keep getting tutorial quests.
Oh, yeah. So that's a little issue. I do like the fact that Matt was saying this, the cycle stuff, like the daily trials, for example, and stuff. At least I get to lose and challenge myself there. Like that was at least for me when I first hit that what do you call it? 3 roads, 4 roads, King's Road, something challenges.
Trail of the 4 Kings.
Yeah. At least that was something. Like that was the first time I felt like I was playing a game. So that's good. But with that said, I did get through that tutorial stuff. I At no point did I say, okay, I'm gonna close this. So it did get me through. So that's a testament to their design and principle that it worked. It got me through it. So that's something. I'll have to wait
Also-
to see where it goes from here.
I just want to throw it out there. That doesn't change. Story is always going to be like that. Like I'm up at level 35 now, and the story that I'm going through now is still exactly like that. It's all clicking, fighting like 2 mobs that are not challenging at all, and just keep going. You just keep going through that. You have to do other quests to get challenging.
I see.
Like challenges. You have
And
this
the dungeons
yellow
and whatnot,
quest or
yeah.
story.
Mhm.
And everything else is other stuff. They all have their own specific purpose.
I had another
So,
point.
yeah.
I had another big point. What was it? Now it's slipping through.
I actually like the gameplay mechanics. It's not an action MMORPG. It's kind of like tab targeting with like pseudo action because you can multiple control schemes. It actually feels really nice. I'm playing a gunner class. I think I played sword mage the first time. I'm having a lot more fun as a gunner. Things like dodging telegraphs and attacking. It all feels super smooth. Like, and actually the enemies are they can be pretty challenging because even though they did like the story stuff, they do no damage to you. Dodging a telegraph on like a mini boss, it just feels nice because they go really fast. Combat feels really smooth, and I like that a lot so far. It's still the only problem I get with my brother. It does feel really stupid easy. I only got a little. The first challenge you actually bump into is that tower. I got to level 11 or 12 on that tower, and then I died. But that was fun. There's a boss there that kills you in one hit. I got him to halfway, and then he one-shotted me. But the fact that I got him halfway, like I'm like, holy shit, he one-shotted me. But that didn't even feel unfair because you can actually dodge every single one of his attacks if you play correctly. So I want to do that again. I'm looking forward to doing that again, but you can only run it a couple times a day. So it's fun.
It's funny that you mentioned that you're having more fun as a gunslinger because I'm playing a sword mage right now, and god damn it, the sword mage is hard. It is very hard. You have to switch between the 3 different aspects and constantly like be on your toes. And I always skip the one that I need at that moment, and I'm just always flipping through. And I learned that I was putting stats in the wrong place, so I had low basic damage for a long time. So Kat was playing the tank, and she was out DPSing me for the longest time. Oh my god, it's a hard class.
It is. That's why I played gunner this time. I didn't want to cycle through all 3. Yummy thoughts?
You know what my biggest problem with Revelation Online is, and I hit level 47 or 48 through the closed beta test, so I think I got a little further than everyone else. I can promise you, I know Matt, you're talking about the questing and whatnot, that pretty much I think by level 40 you're pretty much done with story quests, and it comes down to doing running through those dailies that you were talking about before, and basically your trials of advancement, whatever it's called, where you're just kind of running through the motions as you grind up. It's a fine game. I think it's a good game so far. It's got a weird aesthetic that never quite sat right with me, but it's pretty enough. I think the biggest problem with this game, beyond the overextended tutorial, is just the convoluted menus and how you go about upgrading your gear or through crafting and whatnot. It's just like a Chinese browser game, and yes, I've played plenty of those. You feel overwhelmed by this UI. Nothing feels streamlined. In order to, I think I said this the other day, in order to get the key to use the bathroom, you have to slay the dragon, feed the old man. You have to do like so many steps just to accomplish one simple, small task. And especially like when you look at your backpack, by level 20, your backpack's full of stuff and you have no idea what any of it does.
Yes, I hate that feeling. That's so true.
But it does give it this, basically it's unnecessary complication or unnecessary complexity, but it also kind of adds those layers to the game, and I think that that's going to draw a lot of people's interest, and clearly it has, because we see so many players in the game. I'm actually logged in right now. I'm going to get my passive experience. But after I think this week, I think I'll have a better grasp on it. My only worry is that, as Matt was saying before, I think if it turns into like this, every single day you're doing the same kind of daily quest to level up, that's going to kind of be a drag. But I know PvP is a big part of Revelation Online, and I had a chance to try them on the closed betas. It was unbelievably laggy, but I'm hoping now that it's a lot smoother. That's actually what I'm most excited for, is kind of the grand scale PvP. So we'll see how that works out. But I will say that I think when it goes into open beta testing, if you're looking for a game, I think it's well worth checking out. And I think you have to give it a couple of hours, which I don't like saying, in order to kind of get a feel for it. And I also would say that each class, one thing I also respect about this game is each class does feel entirely different. I've played most of the classes now, and really no two classes work the same. And this may turn off some people, but you use your full range of abilities. You have a ton of them. You have you got 1 through 5 and Q through G, and then you have your right click, left click, and then you have 6 special abilities. So there's a lot going on, and I do find myself using almost all of them on my Blade Master. So that's neat.
And one thing I want to touch on too is some of the social elements. It's actually I love when games do this, where you have multi-person mounts, multi-people flying mounts, and actually in the video it looks really silly because I'm wearing the Doge mask on my character, but you can actually lift another player up. Like you give like one of the emotes is called like a lover's lift, and if they consent to it, it literally lets you pick them up and move around. It's such a stupid little mechanic, but having stuff like that makes MMOs feel like MMOs, and there's more interaction. It's supposed to be like a romantic thing. It's just hilarious. Like lift somebody up and jump off a bridge. It's just like you take them down with you, like from wherever they were trying to go. It's really silly, and I like it a lot. And there's a whole bunch of emotes like that. So it's really cool. There's a romance system built in with that as well. I think when you romance somebody enough, like you have really high romance points with them, you can lift them up without their consent. That's one of the options.
Get bonuses. You get various bonuses.
So do you guys want to get married?
Revelation only tells you that if you have enough love, consent is not required. All right, that's the guess. That's a takeaway I'm getting from the system.
God bless communism.
Also, yeah, Sean, about your weird aesthetic thing, part of the problem is that the assets are of different qualities. Like they're all the same art style, but they're of different qualities, like distinctly different qualities. And like even from NPC to NPC, some of them are distinctly higher quality than other ones, and it can be jarring at times, and it frustrates me. Omer, the reason that they have all these social elements is because that's another thing that's distinct to Chinese MMORPGs.
Yes, it is.
There's one game I saw the other day where I'm pretty sure you can get married, get a house, and actually have kids.
That's cool.
It's insane.
That's Ragnarok status.
That's
so who's gonna marry who here? Come on, want to have a four-way?
Who made a male character? Omar and I are both females.
No, you don't. Whoa! This is a modern progressive world we got here. We can all get.
Speaking of that, you can actually not kiss the same gender until you're a higher level or something, right, Omar? You tried it.
That's what somebody told us. That's pretty funny. I couldn't find the kiss option. But speaking of art style, what do you guys think of her? She's the lolly character in the storyline. Just want to show that off in the podcast real quick, because they pulled a very Japanese thing with her. Okay, you see her in the story a lot.
What's the Japanese thing with her?
Okay, so throughout the whole game, the storyline, Namika is a little girl, and then there's a scene where you're talking to your buddy, and then you find out she's actually 20 years old. That's such a Japanese thing to pull off, a lolly character. Oh, she found the secret to eternal youth. That she's actually 20 years old, not 13.
They call that the legal loophole.
Wait, she's 20 years old. She's already found the secret to eternal youth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're supposed to do that when you're like 80. Haven't you seen Prometheus?
I think it factors into the story, to be honest, but I don't care. I don't.
The lame duck story. Yeah, maybe that's a point to bring up. If you're looking for a deep narrative, if you're an FF14 player, you're not gonna find it here.
Oh, it's awful. This is worst anime you've ever watched. Awful. And if you take the main helper guy, what's his name, Akuda, he's literally, if you took Natsu and made him 10 times more annoying, Natsu from Fairy Tail, that is Akuda. It's almost exactly Natsu, but worse. And the whole thing is terrible. And I've heard from some people, like one guy told me it's literally Google translated in places and Discord. And then I'm playing with a friend who knows how to read Chinese, and he said that it is translated just awfully. He said he's read the Chinese dialogue from closed beta and beforehand, and it's just not right at all. But I digress. I think
I'll give him a pass for that. Who cares? Nobody's reading it anyway.
I think the part that I'm worried about most with Revelation, though, I'm really worried about what the end game's going to be. I'm really worried that it's going to be basically Black Desert all over again with an added layer of dailies.
I think you might be right about that.
And I'm worried about that because it seems like once you get to the end game, it's just going to be sieges, your average everyday dungeon runs just to do dailies, and guild quests. And that concerns me quite a bit. I don't like when you're, especially in a game like this one or like Black Desert, when you have so much stuff that's thrown at you at the beginning of the game, and then when you get to the end game, it just closes down because the whole way up, you're slowly, it's expanding and you're getting more stuff to do. and then right around the max level, maybe 10 levels before at most, it just all shuts down. And you just have like 3 little things that you can do instead of this 20 things you could have done before. And that concerns me.
I guess we'll find out soon enough.
Yeah, we will be.
Mm-hmm.
We will be doing this for Friday Grindfest. Friday.
Grindfest Friday.
Grindfest Friday.
You two brothers are dyslexic.
So
Look, yeah.
So we gotta get to a certain level by then, and then we'll give you guys a more informed opinion of like the later group.
I do want to say again, we are criticizing a lot of the features. I do agree 100% with Matt and Sean when they criticize the fact that you open your inventory, you got a billion items, and you got no idea what to do. Right? It's it's a distinct Chinese game design thing. But like, even with that aside, like, I'm having fun. You got gorgeous graphics. I think the combat is pretty fun. It's no Blade and Soul. Nothing will hold combat like Blade and Soul in my heart. But still, the combat is fun. Gorgeous graphics, large persistent world, and the classes do play differently. And there's potential here, and you're going to get a more informed opinion from us on Friday when we play a bit more. But I want to talk about one more thing. Potentially, this came up to me last night, and I'm curious what you guys think. I have a suggestion for these kind of games be more challenging. I know we complain about the challenge a lot, and obviously not everyone can handle a higher challenge. I have a solution, all right? I want you guys to judge my solution. And I think it fits perfectly in Revelation Online. Imagine the game has like 3 difficulty tiers. You can change anytime. It's in the options menu, okay? 3 difficulties. And all the difficulties do is make those bosses more challenging by... you don't have to design new mechanics. I thought the mechanics in the bosses in Revelation were pretty decent, right? You had to dodge attacks at the right time. You had to spacebar at the right time to jump over attacks. And they'll like one-shot you instead of doing no damage. They'll one-shot you. And the reward for completing it on a more challenging mode would be like cosmetic points. You can use those to buy some new cosmetics. That's it. That's the only reward, cosmetics. No XP gain, nothing else. And it's just kind of there for, or maybe an achievement. Forget the cosmetics. Maybe an achievement or titles for your character. Because every time I was doing those boss mechanics, I was like trying not to get hit once. I was pretending if I got hit once, I got to do it again, I was self-challenging myself. But I feel like if these games that are all, they want to make it easy for everyone, had an optional, more difficult mode where they don't have to redesign everything, right? They just make it do more damage, and they just reward you with some nonsense on the side that doesn't cost anything to develop. That would be amazing. Thoughts? Yay, nay?
I give it a yay. I like cosmetics, so if me being a more skilled player gets me more cosmetics or something unique to show off, because look, I don't know if I've ever said this in a podcast, but one of the reasons why I think people play MMORPGs and they grind stuff is so they can wave their dick around in town. And if I'm a better player, I want to be able to show off my exclusive big dick cosmetic gear to everyone else. So I think that's cool. I think that's its own reward. I don't need any type of stat bonus or gear that's better.
Yeah.
I like just cosmetic stuff. I think that's a good motivator for that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's cool. And I like also the idea of like little challenges. It makes me think of like speedrunning games or playing Mega Man 2 and never taking any damage. That's fun stuff, and that gives something more longevity too.
Erhan, Matt, what do you guys think? My silly solution.
It won't hurt, right? But is it worth the trouble for the developers? No. I think it's you're just going further down the road of splintering the experience.
But it's all within the same world, and the key is easy implementation.
No, I'm against difficulty tiers in general for the reason that it splinters experience. It's like a book, but imagine a beginning of a book. It says skip chapters 3, 8, 6 for easy mode. No, that's not how. It's like no, I don't.
And they do technically have that.
What?
Choose your adventure books.
You get the kids version of the Republic, and then you get the adult.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Okay,
I don't value I don't see. I think it was a negative, a difficulty.
That's all different.
I don't like when you do cosmetics like that. See, I like it more like, and this is just a specific example that I know is there and is recent.
Mm-hmm.
When I was playing Elder Scrolls, when you do the PvP, you fight for your faction.
Mm-hmm.
One person can be elected like the emperor of your faction. And the emperor of your faction at that time stays the emperor, I think, until they die. I don't think there's a time limit. I think it's just until they die in PvP combat out on the open world PvP thing. And during that time, they have a special emperor's costume. I like more like that, where you have this like amazing achievement that like you've achieved, that you've got, where you've achieved this amazing thing, right? Like you've become the emperor, you've been voted in, you've taken over whatever you've done, and then you get a cosmetic. I don't like the idea of just having to save up a bunch of cosmetics points through a dungeon. That because you can save them up doing any dungeon. Like if you just sit there and you have one you can't beat at the end game, but you have one you can beat at the beginning, but it gives you like 1/10 of the cosmetic points, you can still do that 10 times more than the other one, and you still get whatever cosmetic you were working towards. And that just doesn't feel like it's worth it to me. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, but we're getting distracted from the key point. The key point is I think games can implement difficulty settings, like optional, more challenging difficulty settings.
Well, you asked about what I thought about your idea.
No, but I said even not even cosmetics. I said even maybe titles, just something that encourages players to do something more challenging. More because look, it's not even about the reward. Honestly, I think it's more fun for me, and not everybody. Obviously, I think people like me will have more fun if they're wiping and learning.
No,
with the game.
I think no. Look, the game has to be designed with that difficulty in mind, or a certain dungeon has to be hard. You can't just scale up the HP and damage of bosses by 50%.
You're not scaling. You make them one-shot you, and there's something.
Whatever. If you're just scaling the damage up by a percentage, it just seems like cheap filler content to me. That's my take on it.
Well, we have a lot of discussions to get to this week. It's been a very, very busy week for news and everything else that's been going on. So I actually want to take us to what I found the most interesting. Maybe I'll actually find something I find more interesting. But Twitch is taking a big move and may actually start competing with Steam. They're going to start selling games during live streams. So basically, if we're streaming Revelation online, one day you may see a little buy now button underneath. It'll give you the various prices or whatever, and then if you buy the game through that live stream, the live streamer gets a 5% cut, and it's all going to be through the Amazon affiliate program, as far as I know. So Amazon's going to make some money, which owns Twitch, and maybe people will start buying their games primarily through Twitch. You'll also be able to buy them on the game pages, so it's not just a through live stream thing. Just so you guys know, when this program launches, only a select few companies will have their games have a buy now button, including Tryon, Paradox, Ubisoft, and then hopefully they plan to expand later on. So we won't actually see a lot of the more foreign titles that we cover with buy now buttons. But it's an interesting take. I was wondering if you guys had any opinions on this. Is Steam going to feel an impact from this, from Twitch's decision here?
No.
Yes. I'm going to say no. All right.
I like Matt's answer.
Matt do the no first. I'll give you the yes argument after.
This is very simple. Twitch has its own launcher, and it's pretty obvious that all these games that are partnering with them are going to go through that launcher. You are going to have to get people off of Steam with their integrated communities and their integrated chat and onto this launcher that has basically jack shit.
Well, we don't know that for sure yet, though. That's not confirmed. That's going to be through the Twitch.
Well, it's pretty clear. It looks like it, because why else would they have been buttering us up with free Twitch Prime stuff, and all that Twitch Prime stuff goes through that launcher. Even the games that have been on Steam go through the Twitch Prime launcher. I mean, I see no reason they would have done that if they weren't planning to do this through the Twitch launcher.
Yeah, I agree with
that. So you're saying people just aren't going to use Twitch launcher. They're going to stick with Steam.
I don't think they're going to move to the Twitch launcher, which has jack shit for community features. At least right now it does.
Yeah. The key is right now, Matt. I mean, there's a lot they can do with it.
But they could. But the thing is, if they don't right off the bat, and if they don't somehow convince people that it's worth working on or using over Steam, they're not going to move. They're going to go, oh, you know what? I would love to support you guys with the 5% that I'm going to pay towards this, but it's not on Steam. I'm sorry. That's what's going to happen.
All right. I'm going to take the complete opposite side. I think, Matt, you're underestimating what Amazon can do. Again, Steam is owned by Amazon. Amazon is literally
owned by Amazon.
Twitch is owned by Amazon. My bad. Amazon is a much bigger juggernaut than Steam is. Amazon is an over $300 billion company. They can throw. They have the resources. They have the world's most popular back-end cloud software in the world. I'm sure maybe even Steam uses them. Steam could be using Amazon's AWS program to deliver their games. My point is, though, I think a lot of people, when they see a game that they seem interested in on Steam, they don't typically buy it right away. They look at the Steam reviews, and then nowadays, I think less people look at reviews. They look at the score, right? And what they do is they'll go on YouTube or Twitch and find videos of their favorite personalities playing that game and seeing what they think about it, how it looks on their play. If Amazon can control the platform where people are viewing that game, right, where they're kind of making that purchasing decision, and the button is right beneath their favorite streamer, and they support their favorite streamer, it's right in front of them. I think there's a huge potential here. I don't think it's gonna kill Steam overnight at all. I'm saying this could potentially be the only real competitor to Steam right now. There's really nothing competing with Steam right now on a large enough scale to dent them. And I think Amazon has the resources. They have the audience with Steam, with Twitch rather. I don't know why I keep mixing up Twitch and Steam. And I agree with Matt right now. The Twitch launcher is Duke, right? That there's nothing on there, right? But they could easily implement it. The guys at Amazon aren't retarded. They've been booming, for the last like 10 years. So I think they can get a big dent off them. The 5% supporting your streamer and having the button right beneath the stream you're already watching, and all the other encouragements to use their platform. Come on. I think they have a good shot at it.
Oh, now that you said come on, I'm convinced.
I said come on.
Regardless of how this plays out, I am very happy to see Steam's moat start to be chipped away at. They have been very complacent. I know Steam still gets a lot of love, but they've done a lot wrong, and there's been very little improvement in the general experience of using Steam over the years. I feel the UI looks like garbage. The client looks like garbage. A lot of the features never took off. Like groups, nobody uses groups. The curation is pointless.
Curation fell apart.
A green light was a disaster. Which
do people stream on Steam? Is that a thing? I know they added that feature a while ago, but like I've seen it like used once by my friend. That was it.
My point is all these integration features and community features, besides the friend list and chatting to your friends on Steam, that part is strong. I have to admit. A lot of the other stuff just hasn't taken off for a variety of reasons, and I think a lot of it is Steam is just complacent. They're a small company by number of people. They're spread too thin. They're working on three VR games. They're managing two of the biggest games in the world, Dota 2 and Counter-Strike. They're running the biggest PC platform in the world. You can't do all this with the number of people they have staffed. They have zero customer service, right? There's no way to reach to get in touch with them. This is not a formula that we should support. And the fact that companies with much bigger and better dedication to customer service and stuff are getting involved, it's only a plus. No matter who wins, at least Steam will have to up their game.
Also, I think we're forgetting too how much Amazon sells video games. I mean, they do digital downloads. I mean, I bought Final Fantasy 14 on Amazon, not through Steam. And if you count up, there's probably already, I'm throwing a number out there, could be completely wrong, maybe $1 billion in digital downloads through Amazon's digital locker just for games already. They could just throw that in with implementation on
a lot
the
of those
Twitch thing.
are Steam games though.
Are they? Mine have always
Yes.
been direct downloads, not through Steam.
A lot of those are Steam keys. A lot.
I mean, I
the
bought a
only
couple
reason-
games. I never bought anything on Steam. I don't know.
I think the only reason they weren't is because you specifically bought games that have non-Steam versions.
Guess what are the odds that Amazon approached Steam to purchase them, but then Steam said no? I say 100%. Those are the odds.
100%. I think you're right.
I'm going to go a little lower. I'm going to say 98%.
Okay.
I'm going to leave a little room for doubt just in case. But
I think, and you made a really good point though. I think Steam's being stretched too thin is another reason. Amazon has a real shot at taking away market share. They're complacent, and I don't think because they're dumb. I think they got great people working there. The problem is they just have they're not willing to hire more people. I mean, they pride themselves on having like X number of sales per employee, which is like they can say they got the most productive employees in the world because they have so much sales and so few employees. But that really, isn't constrain them. A company like Amazon, their CEO Jeff Bezos says, "Your margin is my opportunity." He is willing. Their CEO of Amazon is willing to lose money or break even just so he can take away your market share, and he doesn't mind hiring and spending whatever it takes to win. So
Jeff Bezos, the gangster.
he's a gangster.
He's
all right?
going to wrangle some comets soon, and we're going to the moon again.
He's working on that shit too. Him and Elon Musk.
All right, here's my thing though. If Microsoft can't do it with a store that's literally built into your computer, if they can't even get you to buy your games that are their games that are exclusive to the Windows Store and Xbox One, I just don't think that Twitch has a chance.
But they already have our eyeballs. We all spend all this time on Twitch already. But Microsoft, if they were more aggressive, I think Aaron talked about this previously by requiring them to use it. That could be that's a great idea from Microsoft's business side. But nobody's going to use a Windows Store if it's not required, or it's not exclusive, or there's a reason for it. Anyway, this is one of those things we'll have to wait and see who's right. So Aaron, were you saying that Twitch is going to succeed? Let's get the numbers across. Who thinks Amazon will succeed with this and take away share from Steam? I say yes. Is it just me?
Too soon. I think what it'll do is it'll chip at it in a way that'll force Steam to up its game.
So ultimately, you're saying they will still fail.
What's failure? I think they'll capture.
This is a long-term
They'll,
project.
they'll capture a share of the PC market. They'll integrate it with Twitch, which they already own, and they'll improve. Twitch will make more money because of this. Now, whether it kills Steam or not,
I'm not saying it's going to kill Steam. I'm saying they're going to take away. Let's say if Steam is 90%, they might fall to 75%.
okay, that's possible, sure. But
Okay, that's what I'm saying.
I think the only way that they're going to take away any market share at all from Steam is if the sales are somehow significantly better than Steam's. That's the only chance that they have. Because right now, Steam has the user base. Steam has the loyalty because you have hundreds of games in your Steam library already. And Steam has better sales all the time. Even without the flash sales, they have better sales. So there is zero chance in my mind that Amazon can compete with that unless they have better sales on a better basis.
Like I said, Amazon CEO doesn't give a shit about profits. You know, Amazon hasn't made money in like 10 years. They don't care. And they're a $300 billion company because they're willing to lose margin and not make any money to win business. Believe me, if you're going to see crazy sales, Amazon is going to drown Steam in crazy sales. They're going to be giving away games, basically. I wouldn't be surprised if Amazon starts giving like $60 games for $40 just to undercut everybody else and lose tens of millions of dollars.
I think they lose partners that way.
No, don't eat the full cost. What are you talking about? They'll buy it for 60. They'll buy it for 58, whatever the margin the Steam buys it for, and they'll eat the difference in losses. Amazon is crazy about winning volume and losing, not making money in the short term. I think you're underestimating their willingness to lose money in the short term.
This will be good for gamers. If anything, basically what we're saying is we're going to be subsidized in the tune of billions by Mr. Bezos, and I'll take it.
Yes, that's what's going to happen. That's my opinion, obviously. And we're going to see who's right in time. I never said Steam is going down, guys. My illustration was Steam going from maybe 90% to 75%. And look, I use Steam all the time. If a game is on Steam, it's a huge sell for me. I can download it quickly. No need to make an account most of the time. It's good to go. So God bless Steam still.
I will say I do.
Okay, so here's an important part. This one thing that is really going to have a major effect on what happens is the process of actually buying the game.
Mm-hmm.
It is so simple on Steam.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it's really just the way that they integrate it and the way you buy things is going to have a huge impact on whether or not people use it. And if there's an actual storefront, that's going to have a huge impact. If it's just on the streams and you have to see someone streaming it to buy the game, I don't know. I haven't looked into it.
Yeah, we'll see.
But yeah, so that all is going to have a huge impact. And since you want a percentage, here's my optimistic percentage: 2% optimistic.
All right. Yeah. Well, we'll see who's right in the future. That's all there is to it.
My last point is I do wish Amazon buys Steam and Steam sells to Amazon. Steam's great. They're really passionate about games, but it's time for the adults to take over. And I think Amazon can provide the discipline, which Steam and Valve clearly lack. They have this nonsense, management style where you can wheel your little standing desk around the office. It works at a small scale. It doesn't work when you're running the biggest, storefront for your industry. So I do hope the adults take over eventually.
Unrelated Twitch comment I want to make, not related to Steam or anything. Just a fun fact about how much people spend time on Steam. The Twitch advertising gives all the information for the advertisers. They say that half of their audience spends more than 20 hours a week on Twitch, which is nuts, I think. I mean, obviously that's not always paying attention, but if you have people that engaged, it's incredible how fast Twitch has grown. We put up an article on MMOs.com talking about YouTube gaming and all the YouTube, not just the YouTube gaming section, but all their gaming content on YouTube versus the minutes spent on Twitch. There's actually more people spending overall more videos and more hours are spent watching gaming content on Twitch than all of YouTube, and Twitch is relatively new, so they're booming.
I just want to point one thing out. Everything we've talked about this, and then I think we should move on.
Yeah.
You guys are really focused on PC titles, but remember, Twitch isn't just for PC. You got console too, and I think that they'll probably make some sales maybe through just console.
I forgot consoles existed. No bad.
You got to buy Horizon. I forget the name now for PS4.
Well,
and you buy it through Twitch stream or whatever. I think that they can make a dent that way. I don't know if it's going to really offer direct competition to Steam, but we'll see. And I think this was a natural step. This was inevitable. We should have predicted this a while ago.
Somebody said, "What's the console?"
Well, the difficult part about selling games is that one PC, there's no way to separate it, so they're just automatically going to put the PC version up for, like, if someone's streaming, say, like Call of Duty Infinite Warfare from a console, it's still just all under Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, so they're just going to put up the PC version for
No,
sale.
no, they're
All
going to
put
put
it on the same page.
It's going to go to a game page where you choose which one you want to buy,
Yeah.
which version you
That
want to buy.
just seems convoluted. But
No,
how's that
it's very
convoluted?
straightforward. That's like the most obvious way.
you want to click a button and you want them to buy it as soon as
You click a
possible
button-
without thinking about
No,
it.
you click a button and you see which one you want to buy, and
Takes
then
you to
you
the sale
buy it.
page, and
Yeah.
you just do a drop down menu, just like you do on Amazon. But anyway,
Yeah.
let's move on. I think we'll come back to this soon. We should learn more about it. The system's not implemented yet. It will be implemented soonish.
Trademark soonish. I like it.
So-
Sources suggest.
So we'll see in about 3 months. Whenever the quarterly is out.
Maybe it's worth mentioning Savage Resurrection. I know, Matt, you put up the article, and I had no idea. My mind was blown that this game was free to play. Take it away, Matt.
So Savage Resurrection launched to mediocre reception middle of last year, and it didn't do very well. Savage has a lot of like hardcore fans that still play it. They have Savage, I think it's called XR now, which is an updated community hosted version of Savage, the original game, and they keep up to date with it. And when they said that they were going to remake it, people were hyped. There were like 1,800 people there on launch day that bought the game for $20, and they downloaded it and they were all playing. And it just dropped off heavily within a month because it was apparently bug ridden and there were some things that were apparently wrong with it. And it just dropped off completely. So last month, it went free to play. And I'm shocked. Nobody knew about this. And I know that nobody knew about this because I specifically, the moment someone mentioned it to me in Discord, I went, okay, for, you know how Google lets you search sites? I went Rock, Paper, Shotgun, Polygon, GameSpot, even IGN. Nobody had this. Nobody knew that it was free to play, apparently.
I didn't know.
That's how little people cared about this game after that first month. I mean, it had an average of like 20 players for months. It stuns me because look at it. I mean, the graphics are gorgeous, and I mean, it's based on the original Savage, which did really well for a while before MOBAs took over. So that happened.
I mean, worth speculating. I mean, S2 Games is really dropping the ball. I mean, their previous game, Strife, it flopped completely, and this was their next big game after Strife. I mean, they clearly put some effort into making this, and nobody's playing it. And I think no one's playing Strife either. They don't even own Heroes of Newerth anymore. They sold it to some Southeast Asian company. So they have nothing right now that people play. And I wish I knew this was free to play. I was looking at this when it came out, like, maybe I'll buy it later because I played a shit ton of Savage too, and I love that game. But it's just they must have had awful PR people because they never reached out. You know, if we knew about it when it went free to play, we would have covered it. We'd have done a video by now.
Well, now we can do one.
Yeah. We might do a Sunday Funday for this one, actually.
Actually, Gumbo, this might be a game for you. It reminds me a lot of Natural Selection, actually. You have one commander.
It did not remind me of... Oh, really?
You have a commander. He kind of builds a base and sends you upgrades to the units, like to everyone else, like guns and different unit types, like the big brute or like the giant siege.
You capture resource nodes and you defend it. He makes the commander's building buildings there. So there's resource nodes just like there is in Natural Selection too. So Natural Selection actually was a great comparison to this. I didn't even think of that.
I kind of just want to play Natural Selection too now.
It's it's fantasy Natural Selection too, basically.
Except it came first, I think.
The original Savage.
Original Savage, probably, yes.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah. Actually, I'm curious. I'm searching National Selection release date, and I'm like, in before I get like when Darwin's Theory came out. Because the first one wasn't that just a mod for?
It was a Half-Life 1 mod. I played the shit out of that.
That's back. That's 2002. Holy crap!
That's crazy.
Savage
Great
2001,
game.
2003.
Look, Savage 1. Savage 1. It was 2003. So yeah.
I played
National
Savage
Selection
1.
came out first.
Savage
Interesting.
1.
Oh, look at that shit.
I bought Savage 1 like I think the month it came out, and we played it.
Me too. We bought it together. Yeah.
Good times.
Yeah. Man, I'm excited to play that actually now that's free to play.
You know, I'm gonna tie this into Revelation, okay?
Okay, tie it in.
So the beginning of Revelation is pretty easy, mindless, right? We all kind of agreed. I remember playing Savage 2 with a group of casuals, right? And when I played, and we liked the game. But we always played it from the perspective of us, which, we're gamers. We played all the Battlefield, EverQuest, all these kind of games. All the casuals, after like 30, each round takes like an hour, by the way. So at the end of that, Omar and I had like 50 kills, 10 deaths, whatever. Every one of the casuals we were playing with was 0 and something. 0 and 30, 0 and 28, 0 and like 30, 40. Like,
I remember that.
And then I looked at their faces. Like, there was no fun being had, So, the genre can't go on like this. So now I see why these games kind of aren't doing well. You can't have a game where people play for an hour and they literally can't make any dent in anything.
That's true. That's why games are getting more casual. You bring up Revelation. I want you to talk about a conspiracy theory about Revelation. This is like normally conspiracy theories. Conspiracy theories are usually all bullshit. Aaron laid down an amazing theory last night, and I think he's on the money.
Means it's mediocre.
No, okay. Listen, Matt. Open mind. All right.
Take it away. I'm on YouTube. I'm going to search the X-Files theme. Here we go.
X-Files theme it up. Let's go.
We're going to get DMCA'd so hard.
It's on YouTube.
No, we're good.
Do the dubstep remix. No one's going to DMCA that one.
All right. X-Files it up.
Okay, here we go. You know how... Omar noticed this. Literally, we're there day 1 of open beta. But you got to buy a Founders Pack to access, right? And there was gold spam nonstop. Right? And this happens in every game. And then Omar's thinking, why don't they ban them? Just right-click, ban them. Make another $18 every ban. And here's why. Ready? They're working. They are the developer or the publisher. The publisher is spamming to sell gold. It's another way to make money.
Boy, this sure sounds like some Elysium.
Yes.
No, think about it, though.
I already know that's false, and I know
Why?
that's false because I've seen a lot of these companies like MMO Attack, MMO Tank,
all that. Yeah.
Every other game, there is no way that is possible.
No, they paid maybe the developer $1,000 for an unbanned version of the game where they don't get banned for the first 2 days. That's possible.
That's not what he said. He said it was the developers.
No, or they're working in cahoots with the developers,
yeah,
Matt.
in some way. Like, they're getting a cut.
They pay somehow. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Now think about it. I get it that it's impossible to stop all the gold spammers. Everybody understands that, right? But on launch day, where you have to pay $18 every time you ban, like if you get banned, to make another account costs $18. When the game is actually fully free and it costs nothing to make an account, I get it. You can't police it. But every time you ban someone, they have to buy it again. There's no excuse. You make money every time you ban them.
This is an amazing editorial idea.
Day 1, when you had to pay $100 to get. I'm not kidding. It was that way day 1.
Exactly. They were making money.
So what that tells me is,
I remember that.
Dude, either the people at Revelation Online Publishing are complete incompetent retards, which I don't think they are. Okay. Or they're getting paid, or they're looking at blind eye.
Every single publisher, someone gets paid to allow the gold spammers to come in. Yeah, you know what? You don't need to convince me of that one. I willingly believe it.
But here's the part that makes it believable. I don't think. Listen, when the game goes full open beta and anyone can make an account for free, you know what? At that point, you can't police it. They're probably not working together anymore, or like. At that point, they don't have to pay them. There's no need to cooperate, right? It's at that critical moment where you can only play with a founder's key. Is when they're working in cahoots together, and they can make a lot of money off it. I mean, if you look at the chat, there are countless spams.
Oh yeah.
People are paying for the megaphone, where it goes server wide, and they're spamming.
Yeah,
and they're not getting banned.
They're spending money on those
conch shells.
Yeah,
they're conches.
I am so convinced right now that it's either this or they're retards. Can we agree on that? Either they're complete buffoons.
No, I'm more willing to believe that they're in cahoots than they're stupid. I think, and you know what? Fuck it, whatever. If that's what they want to do, that's fine. I don't even care.
I don't mind either, but whatever. It's just funny.
Well, you're the one who should mind. I was the one. Omar was the one who should mind. I'm the one who said the company should sell gold directly, baby. Remember? I got no problem with that.
I have a whole editorial about that.
All right, there you go. See.
But Matt, can we agree that it's either they're complete idiots for not banning them, or they're working together?
Yes.
Is there a third option?
Here's the third option, and here's the third option. I think it's the most ridiculous one. The third option is that there's no cahoots and they're not stupid, but that these gold stars actually make so much money that they can just keep buying accounts again and again and again and again. Which I don't know. I don't know how much money the gold farmers make.
Even if they do that, right? There's every incentive for my.com to have one guy on staff just to right-click ban, and every time you do it, every time you move your finger 2 clicks, you make $18. They hire more people. Every time you ban someone, you make $18. It's thousands of dollars an hour.
I completely agree with you, and that's why I'm saying they would have to make that. I think it's the most unlikely option, maybe. It would be the most ethical one, I guess. But it's possible. Again, we don't have. It would be really fascinating if we actually had data on how much like a site like MMO Attack makes, because I mean, they're in every fucking game spamming. They're
MMO
in
Tank
private
as well.
servers
MMO
spamming.
Tank is everywhere.
MMO
okay,
Tank.
I think they make a decent amount of money, and here's why: the average person doesn't know any better. They really don't. So
What do you
the
mean by
average
what do you mean?
person-
What do you mean by that? I'm curious.
Like they don't know any better than to like. Okay, they say, I need this much gold for this thing. This guy's spamming this. He just clicks on it or like copy
Yeah.
pastes it into his browser, and it's just they don't know any better. They just buy the gold. That's what I'm saying.
But is that necessarily like you make it sound like they don't know better is a bad thing? Like, I mean, I'm not really that offended when somebody buys gold in a game.
No, I'm
But
just saying they don't know
think
any
they're
better
stupid.
than to just buy it. That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. If it's being advertised that often, if they see it,
They
in
might
their
even think it's
face that
official.
often-
You're right.
I mean, they don't know any better than to just buy it from this company. That's what I'm saying.
My favorite is MOCO. I see them in every fucking game now.
They got goldAA.com on this. I'm looking at it right now. Gold CEO. I see that.
I see that spam in literally every game.
Do you think like the porn sites that one company actually owns all these gold selling companies? Like one big factory in Guangdong owns all these different sites.
Guangdong.
It's always Guangdong.
There is a web of connections there because I know there's a lot of wholesalers
Mhm.
that just buy from individual botters, and then I think the wholesalers sell it to the random stores, to the sites, and there's a level of consolidation there.
It'd be really fascinating to have like an expose on the gold selling market. I've seen a couple in the past, but it's always
That'd
like
be a
at
good
the individual
documentary,
level.
right?
Yeah, that would be. I would love it. Let's the MMOs.com documentary. None of us are gonna make it, but we'll get someone else to make it. For
We'll
free.
get it crowdfunded and we'll pay somebody else. to make it. Beautiful. Kickstarter it up, boys.
Let's get Werner Herzog to narrate it.
I'm actually looking at MMORPG.com. If you look on the bottom right, they update every time a new transaction comes in, right? And it's updating
Wow.
freakishly fast. Take a look. I mean, I just saw 3 updates now in a second. I see Sean on here. Sean something at gmail.com.
Shut the
Gombe.
fuck up. Shut the fuck up.
Gombe, did you spend money on
Shut
Revelation
the fuck up.
Online?
Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up.
What am I looking for
If you
here?
look-
Oh, latest transaction.
On the bottom right, the latest transaction. It seems to be updating in real time.
Wow.
Do you see how people? So they're making transactions like almost like one every few seconds. There's a lull sometimes, but then
They're
they get a
making
few more.
bank. We're in the wrong business, boys.
We are in the wrong business. We're not making any money. These guys are minting money.
Now,
All right. Now that we mentioned, all right, take it away.
how
Huh?
do we know this is a real life? It just could be like one of those
We
Chinese.
don't know, obviously.
You know those Chinese games on their website have like the photo gallery of their players, and it's just random ass pictures.
Those are. Remember we found out that one of them was just a copy and paste from
Yeah.
another Facebook.
Google Images.
Wasn't even
Yeah.
real.
That's actually pretty hilarious.
Yeah, so I'm not.
That's I think when you know you have a low tier game when you see those real user pictures.
I kind of want to Google one of those now, but I'll find it in a bit. I mean, we mentioned that we got Kickstarter this documentary, but since I mentioned Kickstarter, we got to mention the Ashes of Creation. All right, they came out and they did.
Take it away.
Look, they came out and they showed some in-game footage with a UI.
Mhm.
All right, and I'm a fair man. All right, I am the fairest man in the world. All right.
Sure you are.
Listen, coming out with this was they went from being cringy, right, with the nonsensical Unreal Engine backgrounds that they show in the like videos for like such a long time. They went from cringe tier to like, okay, now there's a little something here, you know. Now they gotta make the game, all right? It's not cringe anymore, right? Now it's still, you know, a gigantic task in front of them, but they should have came out swinging with this, all right? They went from a complete joke to having a little bit of something, all right? They have zilch nada to having a smidgen of something, and God bless, all right? They got a little something here.
They
Well,
do
I
have a
mean-
little something.
It seems like multiplayer at least works. So
Yes.
They've already shown off more than well.
More than Chronicles.
multiplayer works, and yeah, more than Chronicles of Valyria. Okay, I didn't want to say that without clarifying. They show multiplayer in a sense that isn't just 1v1 duels. Okay, there we go. So,
Yeah.
and they already have more than No Man's Sky promised, and it released.
That's true. But the only thing you know, people are like, oh, people look, but I think what's kind of annoying is when people like get super excited, right? And I think it's silly to get excited right now. I mean, look, they showed that they created a networking environment where people can connect to. There's, you know, some interactions with skills, right? Like they got something. I mean, I'm not saying they got nothing anymore, but it's so early. You can't get excited on this. Like it's literally now they got to make the game. You know, it's like okay, they got some assets together, but now you got to make the game like coherent, fun, implement the systems, do the balance. It's got to all work well together in a cohesive way. It's, I say even Star Citizen hasn't shown anything. Like they got to put all that into a persistent universe in a fun way for it to be like a good game. Like this is so early, you can't get hype yet. But still, good job, guys, Ashley Creation, for at least putting this out.
This looks better than all those Steam games we listed earlier at the beginning.
yes, it does. But at least, those Steam games are, there are systems in place, they work, But yes, it looks better visually for sure. So I said, I don't think excitement is a bad thing. I think it is because it gets people so disappointed. I mean, the excitement builds on itself, right? The hype builds on itself to a point where you can never meet that hype. Look, I think if the hype was a lot lower for Tree of Savior, the game would be doing a lot better. I mean, it was sky-high expectations.
The game's doing better than most MMORPGs on Steam. I don't know what everybody's talking about. It's still averaging like 3,500 people.
Yeah, it's great. I know, but the hype that it had at the beginning, those guys all like, what was the launch like? Over 30,000 or something crazy. If the expectations were a little bit more like tame, yeah, I think it would have held a lot more of those players. But yeah, the game is still doing well. There's no doubt. It's one of the most played MMORPGs on Steam. Like definitely in top 5 or 6.
What game are we talking about?
Tree of Savior.
Well, speaking of that, Nexon actually.
Yeah, that's worth mentioning too.
It's funny. The guy who made Tree of Savior was one of the lead guys at Ragnarok Online.
Mm-hmm.
So he made his own company, IMC Games, in 2003-ish. They made Granada Espada and Tree of Savior. And now Nexon is taking a little investment there into this company. That's exciting.
I think they're doing it because they see the big potential for the Tree of Savior mobile remake as well.
Yeah,
I think this is a good sign.
It's all about the mobile version.
Mm-hmm. I wish terms were disclosed, but in these transactions, unless it was a shit ton of money, Nexon's not going to reveal it in their quarterly reports. But if it's a lot of money, they have to. But they probably took probably less than half. Otherwise, they would have said a majority control. So Nexon owns a piece of Tree of Savior now.
Also, fun fact: they officially said it was Nexon Korea that made the actual purchase or the investment, which is important because Nexon is based in Japan.
Yeah, the headquarters are based in Japan. I don't know exactly why yet. Maybe I know they're listed in the Tokyo Stock Exchange. Maybe there was some reasoning around that because I know the majority of their business is China and Korea. It just seems very odd that their headquarters are in Japan. It must be it's a technical legal reason for it, which I don't know what it is just yet.
Taxes. Somehow it's taxes. No, it's always taxes.
I think it has to do with just
they should go to Ireland.
Being in a bigger. It's to be in a bigger market, public market. Japanese stock
that makes
market.
sense.
The Japanese stock market is bigger. It's a lot. It's the same reason a lot of companies list in America that are not American.
That makes sense, actually.
A lot of South American companies, Brazilian companies will list in America for that reason, to raise money here.
What's amazing is a lot of these small. There's a lot of small companies on the Korean stock exchange, right? So small companies rarely are publicly traded in America if they're really small. But you have companies like Webzen. Even you can buy stock in Webzen. I mean, it's relatively small. But even the company that made Shea, you could have bought shares in them, which is nuts. A lot of these small companies do get traded in Korea, but Japan's a much bigger stock exchange. So I guess Nexon's a big company. If Nexon was on the Korean stock exchange, it'd probably be one of the biggest companies there. Not the big, it's up there though.
Well, I don't know anything about the Korean market outside of gaming.
Outside Samsung. Samsung.
There you go. Samsung.
Samsung's the market.
Samsung.
And Hyundai. All right, guys, we've got to mention another Duker Steam game, and I'm not even afraid to call this Duker anymore. It's pretty redonk. We have Asta Online is coming back, boys.
What?
Asta, not ASDA, ASTA. Okay,
Sean, your what isn't exactly not concerning, considering you're supposed to be editing these.
Whoa! I edit with faith. I'm a faith-based editor. I do a little prayer and hopefully Jesus picks up the reins.
Jesus takes over and proofreads. He's good.
That's right. He knows what he's doing.
But this is mind-blowing. Okay, first of all, it's mind-blowing because it's stupid, right? First of all, the guys that make Digimon Masters Online are the ones bringing this back, right? The game failed in Korea, right? It shut down after, I think, a year or two. And then it launched in America through Webzen, and it shut down within 7 months. And now the geniuses that move games are like, okay, I'm going to pitch it to the board. Remember that piece of shit game that nobody played in Korea and it shut down so quickly in America? Hear me out. I got this, guys. I got this. we're gonna relaunch it, but get this on Steam. Boom, let's get the money.
All right, so Omer, conspiracy theory. So they're bringing back their own games too, like Noir, which I've never heard of until it was on Greenlight, and Power Rangers Online, which did very poorly in Korea. So, wait for it, they're becoming their own MMO necromancer.
Ooh, I like it. They're gonna compete with Red Fox and Super Games.
Yeah.
I'm looking at Power Rangers Online now. I did not know this was a thing.
You want to know what
saw
else
you
is a
mentioned it,
thing?
but I didn't click on it.
You want to know what else is a thing? So they also have Rockman Online, which is Mega Man, the Japanese name for Mega Man, and Ghosts and Ghouls Online is a thing.
Excuse me?
What? Maximo? Ghosts and Ghouls?
Yes.
Hold
that's
on.
a thing.
Is Rockman Online like decent? Like I feel like that name alone should
They're
bring
both
people
shut
playing
down.
it.
They're both shut down.
But you would
Well,
think the
Rockman
Mega
was
Man name
only
would
in
help.
Korea.
Oh, that's why.
So yeah, those are things. And but yeah, I think the story here is how the fuck did Move Games get the rights to Asta? And I mean, they really had to have gotten the rights to Asta because they're both Korean companies originally. So I mean, they really had to have just straight up bought it out, not just like the.
How much do you think it went for? I would have placed that MMOs.com bid. Just like I wanna buy the like exclusive rights to a game, like a shitty game that shut down already. It's like my budget is like $1,000. Do you think I can get one?
If I had to guess, I'd say it went for like 100K.
That's so much money. There's no way. Because I remember if you Google and this is a little bit unrelated, right? You can I think Crunchyroll got sued, and in the court documents they revealed how much Crunchyroll paid for a bunch of anime licenses, right? And they range anywhere from like 50K to like 340K, and these are for like pretty big animes. So for a game that's shut down, right? That's not as easy to run as an anime. You just put it up and advertisements come in. There's no way 100K for a shut down Duker.
A game's also not an anime. If I had to make a guess, it would be 100K.
I'm gonna say way less. But I don't know if it's 1K, but who knows?
I like how Steam is becoming the new dumping ground for these like dead MMORPGs. And to tie back to the whole Twitch taking on Steam thing, I don't think it's good for Steam to keep taking so many awful games. These are okay. Asta's okay, but there's a stat about how 40% of the whole Steam library just came online in 2016.
No, it was 80% in the last 4 years.
A lot of
you mean
these
last year?
Just last year.
And a lot of these are barely functional. Like
Yeah.
they're very, very finicky, kind of barely functional. Like you have to do things exactly right or they break. You get caught on like tiny little edges on everything because the developers didn't properly implement changing heights. It's all ridiculous.
At some point, that kind of blow is gonna hurt Steam, I think.
All right, guys. I'm making a declaration right now. I'm gonna email at least 2 Korean developers of shutdown games and offer them $1,000 and see if they take me up on it. Okay? If they even reply to my email. Okay?
We should.
Okay.
Let's get.
Do you guys think I'll get it?
Let's get Gumball's
If
game.
you get one of those games, I will
Thanatos.
personally host it.
Oh, okay.
Because
Matt,
why the
you,
fuck
you,
not?
it just costs like $10. Don't worry, no one's gonna play on it. So the hosting cost will be pretty low.
Yo, get Black Gold Online. Let's get that back.
No. Well, that's what I should have said for worst MMO.
I would
And
love to
then,
be able to get a license for that.
I think Black Gold is still up though. I
Oh.
don't think it went down.
It is still up. It is still up. And last
It
I
should be
checked,
shut down.
there was a forum post where somebody asked if anybody still played it, and someone at the company specifically said there's still people logging in. They don't.
Yeah, people at the company.
They don't specify how many, but they said that they still have players basically. So that might be 3 or it could be 300, but they still have players.
I'm glad the delusion is strong.
And I also want to point out that the reason that Asta failed is because, if I remember correctly, something like maybe at most 3 months after, no, 5 months at most. I can't remember exactly, but about 5 months at most after it launched in Korea, it stopped being updated. It had not been updated since December of 2013, what I had read.
All right,
Well, that'll do it.
I found my game, guys. You ready for this? I'm gonna contact DNC Entertainment, the developers and publishers of Secret of the Solstice. Do you guys remember that game?
Oh yeah.
It was like a Ragnarok clone.
I think
Man.
that one will go for more than 1K.
It's been shut down forever.
Yeah, but that one was moderately successful, if I remember correctly.
That
There
was
are a
Spark
lot of people
Publisher
that
for a
still
while.
talk about it.
They talk, but the game's been gone for years. You know, it's sitting on their books. I'll be like, listen,
We'll find
it's
out.
sitting on
We'll
your
find
books. We'll
out.
find out. We'll find out. I'll let you guys know next podcast if they ever reply to me. All right, if I can even find where to contact them.
Also, I'll find another one that's absolute crap. I'll find one.
Yes,
for you.
find me a couple. I want to shoot a bunch of emails and we'll see if we hear back. All right. Maybe I should lower my bid to 500. No, I'll do it. If they get back to me, I'll be very happy
You know
to
what?
buy it for
I have an
1,000.
idea. For next podcast, I want my title to be Necromancer. And then during a segment, I'll bring up one dead MMORPG, and we can talk about it for 5 minutes. It'll kill a segment of the podcast.
All right. So we've got a bunch of other stuff we should
Mhm.
probably get to. I would like to go over this quickly because it's a quick thing. Omer pointed this out before. He played it on stream, I'm pretty sure. Ragnarok Web is coming to the West as Ragnarok Journey, that game that basically saved Gravity Entertainment.
No, it's not this one.
Oh, it's
oh,
not this one?
I don't. I'm looking. Actually, it looks very similar. Actually,
It is the same
keep
one.
going. Okay.
That one that you played, the Taiwanese one.
The one I played was a mobile one.
This is mobile.
Oh,
No,
No, this is web.
no.
This is
I
browser
thought
based.
this is the one you were talking about that saved it.
It looks
before-
similar, but no, this is not it.
Before Ragnarok Mobile.
Mm-hmm.
Before that. I thought, never mind. I got to change the article then. Oh, well. whatever. I'm mistaken.
It still
Okay.
looks pretty cool.
Yeah, so that's the one you played in Taiwan, remember?
Mhm. Yes, I remember that one though.
Yeah, it's coming to the West. So yeah, we've got another Ragnarok game, regardless of what.
And again, I do suspect we will see that mobile one, the one that's published. I forgot, it's some obscure publisher. Yes.
Xindong. Yeah.
Okay, I am confident that because it's making so much money in China, it's going to come to the West. And just a quick recap, if you guys don't know, Gravity, the company has been doing very poorly for a while. I mean, it's obvious why, right? Ragnarok 2, it sucks. Nobody plays it, right? Even go on Steam, nobody's on it. Ragnarok 1 is aging. They still make some money in Japan and some from America and whatnot, but the other games are dead. They've been making no money for the last 6 years, like zilch, nada. But they made a licensing deal with a Chinese company, and they co-developed a mobile game that looks similar to the one you're seeing right now. It looks very similar to that actually, but it's mobile only. And I did a first look video for it, and that game literally saved Gravity. It made Gravity from a $10 million company, because Gravity is actually publicly traded in America of all places. A small Korean company is publicly traded in America. They were a $10 million company. Stock price was like $2, and now it's up to $30 a share, and the market cap, the value, is up to over $100 million. So they made $90+ million of value through this one game, and they didn't even make it. They co-developed it with a Chinese company. It saved Gravity. So we're going to see more of Ragnarok Online. The franchise ain't dead. All right, it's going to get more and more other mobile and browser games because of their success in China.
And this is pre-RO Mobile. This is
Mhm.
pre that, and it has. I don't know how well it's done, to be honest. Now that I'm knowing that I'm confused in those.
I think
But
they
yeah,
did well,
it's
though. I
happening.
think they did well, Matt, because they did say in their earnings report one of the reasons for their they attributed the Chinese one and the Taiwanese web game as a reason for their growth. So this is people are clearly playing this, as we can see in the background video too.
It does look. It looks distinctly different too. I mean, it's got more of a Crystal Saga-esque vibe than some of the other ones. It's weird to see Ragnarok with wings like that, though.
I hate wings. I know.
I
Gummy
hate
hates them.
wings. I do hate wings.
Not buffalo wings though. You like
Yeah, I had
chicken
wings
wings.
today. I fucking love wings.
All right,
Blue
so
cheese.
I'm awake now.
moving on because we are running out of time, and I know that Erhan's going to try and cut this any minute. We do also need to mention Kritika. Kritika is coming to the West.
Yes, that's a big one. It's by NMAS, right?
Mhm.
It's publishing this.
Yep.
That's crazy.
And Mass is taking it. I have faith in this one.
Really?
I'm going to lay this out very clearly.
Please.
Okay, so NMAS took over Alliance of Valiant Arms, which was not doing well in the West since like the days of Iggy. I mean, it has not been doing well for a long time. They took it over, and even though they took it over knowing that it wasn't doing well, they went ahead and they talked to the developers, and they got a bunch of content updates that had been held back in the game immediately, like the moment they put it out. So I have a lot of faith that NMAS is going to do right by Kritika.
Interesting. It's a fun, it's an action game too, and everyone always pines for action and more RPGs. So, but it does have that. If I remember correctly, it did have the the Vindictive style, DFO style, persistent hubs and then instance dungeons. But the gameplay is super smooth.
It also has fatigue, but the first night I played it, it took 5 hours to get through all of it.
Oh, then you're fine.
So-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, this will be Q2, so sometime in the summer. So Inmass is definitely doubling down on the West too. I mean, they've been known for Terra, but they picked up AVA, and now they picked up this, and they're actually launching another game as well. I want to nominate their next game as the worst named worst game name, not ever, but like in a long time. Let me know what you guys think. Player Unknown's Battleground.
Oh, I
Oh,
hate
it's
that
the
when it's
guy's
all
name.
caps.
It's the
It's all-
guy's name.
But
It's
still,
Just call it Battlegrounds.
Well, it's too simple then. They're putting it in there because it's like when you put George Romero's Day of the Dead, John Romero's.
No, you had it right the first. It was George Romero.
Romero. Yeah,
You mean
I
Tom
just-
Clancy, Matt? Tom Clancy would have been a good choice too.
yeah. Tom Clancy, yes, that too. But I'm sorry.
I hate it though. Tom Clancy is a name. Who the fuck is Player Unknown? He's unknown. He's an unknown player.
No, he's the designer, I think, and he's some guy that has worked on mods or something. I don't remember exactly. You'd have to look into it, but it's the guy. That's why it's called that.
I want to be the guy.
But
But,
I hate the name. Come on, don't. Do you guys don't mind it? You think it's okay? I hate it.
Yeah, it's in all caps. That's how you know he's serious.
Oh,
And
so this is a
also-
Trump design game.
Also, Masse also has a mobile game called something like Battle Plan, so that
Mhm.
should be. They really are releasing a lot more games. I think the success of Terra has made it so that they're
Able to, yeah.
they're very able to and they're willing to now.
And I think Terra's has been declining in the West too. So they feel like a kind of rush to replace the lost revenues of Terra, the declining revenues, with some new stuff. So that's why we're seeing all of a sudden they're really pushing for all these new games.
And also, it should be mentioned that PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds is actually being made by the developer of Terra, not by Masse themselves. So they probably got the licensing deal like right off the. That's the case.
Is that game gonna be free?
No.
It's a King of the Kill style game. I don't think it's gonna be free. I
don't think
forgot
so.
though.
But yeah, back to Kritika. I personally, in my experience, while Soul Worker looks smoother, I feel like Kritika plays smoother and the combos link together a lot nicer. It's a lot faster paced and it's just smooth to like go from
Mhm.
let's go straight
So
through.
you,
it, so.
so what you like is the cleavage, is what you're saying.
Oh, the cleavage is
Figure-
top notch. I
figure-
love the cleavage in that game.
But yeah, I liked Kritika more than I did Soul Worker.
I see you paused at a great spotter, hon,
Thank you.
in the video. Quality. They're emceeing over there. I'm optimistic as well, though, man. I'm optimistic Kritika will do well, and I'm optimistic Terra, in Mass rather, will do a good job with it. Because right now it is playable. You can play in Southeast Asia, but it needs to have some marketing. It needs to be, an English audience community to really succeed. But I want to talk about another game too. We'd be crazy not to talk about the drama that surrounded Paladins. So let me go ahead and find that real quick.
Gotta recap. I completely forgot why. Oh
Okay,
no, I think
I'll recap the drama. I love the Paladins drama. It always goes to a fun topic of pay to win. I know it's Aaron's favorite topic as well, and Gumby's.
Always.
I love talking about pay to win.
So what happened was they actually introduced legendary cards to their game, and they changed the currency and whatnot you need to get these legendary cards. They introduced a brand new currency called Essence in the game, and the only way you get Essence is by getting duplicate cards. Duplicate cards would turn into Essence, and you could use that Essence to unlock legendaries that cost about 18,000 each. So there was a massive shitstorm on Paladins because this game is doing really freaking well. It was tens of thousands of concurrent users. So this is a massive hit for Hi-Rez, easily their biggest game since Smite, really. So they had to do something. So there was a massive shitstorm. Some people, it was pretty clear that everyone was pissed off. And by everyone, I mean the vocal people that go on Reddit, because I'm sure a lot of people didn't give a shit, right? Most of the time it is that. But what I was blown away with was how quickly their lead designer went on Reddit. His name is Drybear, and he responded, and they made changes. Like how quickly they're like, "Holy shit, we fucked up." Maybe we reached too far, and then they toned it down a lot. So what happened is, it was a really interesting development because they made the cost of legendaries drop from I think 18,000 down to 12,000. So they already made it like a third cheaper, right? But where they made it really, really cheap is where your common cards would disenchant into 60 essences. They made that from 60 to 250.
Wow.
So they 4 times increased the rate of getting the new resource, and they dropped the cost of these cards by a third. It's a massive decrease. It made it way more accessible. So that's pretty nuts how quickly they responded. But it's nuts how quickly your community can turn against you. You know, you make one wrong move, and if you're not willing to step up and try, you know, addressing it right away, you're fucked. You know, these guys, they keep complaining. Even if they don't quit the game, right? All their bitching and moaning is going to get other people to quit or not play. So I think they did a good job responding super, super quickly. I know Andrew's probably like, who cares if it's a little pay to win?
And it should also be noted that legendary cards can be obtained from Radiant chests. You don't need to
Yes.
just use Essence, but it's literally 5 out of 100. So it is
5%,
a 5% drop rate. And that's a 5% drop rate over 3 different cards per hero. And you may not get the one that you need for your hero. So it's pretty, it can be brutal.
A lot of people saying I don't see that as pay to win as well. Also, assuming the legendary cards are balanced, you're right. I don't think it'd be pay to win, but it's always an issue of how do you balance the rare legendary cards. You know, some games do it well, other ones don't, and sometimes like even if a card's not like necessarily OP, but it's legendary, you might need it to kind of synergize with your other cards in your playstyle to a point where even on paper, if it's not OP, you almost kind of need it for your build and your loadout. And in a game like Paladins, you know, you have a certain playstyle, so you're gonna want to run certain cards. You know, that's your customization. So I mean, I'm glad that they responded so quickly. I mean, I don't know if the current setup is, you know, the fair one, but it seems, I think Matt, you said the complaints have died down a bit.
Yeah, they've died down a lot, and people were like, if they're not happy about it, a lot of them are like, okay, whatever.
Yeah,
they've just given up. So yeah, it's been better. It's just, I think it's insane how much of a response that got, and that just goes to show when you have that big of a player base, when you make something too much of a grind, they're gonna call you on it immediately. Like they're just immediately gonna shut you down. And a lot of, I think that it would have been less of an issue if they hadn't changed the currency. But what they did is they changed the currency that you need to buy cards from gold to essence. So you have a bunch of veterans that were pissed off because they had stockpiles upon stockpiles of gold that they had no idea what to do with because they had everything. Right? They just like had stockpiles of this, and they can't use it on these new cards. Instead, they have to use it on chests and then hope that they get back what they need for the cards that they need. So that, I think that's what really drove a lot of the anger about it.
But also their willingness to kind of engage right away. A lot of companies, we hear all the time, like if you talk about this on the forums, they delete your account, you know? I don't know if that's always true. I mean, they do censor like certain levels of dissent on their official forums. So like the fact that they, you know, their approach wasn't like egotistical and they just assumed like, oh, maybe we'll wait and see the data. Like they tackled it head on. And we have somebody in the chat that said, you know, he's been playing Paladin since day one, and it was never really that bad. He was able to get all the legendary cards anyway. So I do agree. Most of these issues, especially surrounding pay to win, are always, you know, people are very early to call it out too. You know, people don't give the developers any slack, but I mean, at least they responded and they made it easier, and it's a more player-friendly option. So I approve.
You guys know I didn't really like the card system from the beginning, and I didn't always explain properly the why, right? And this is another one of the reasons why. One of the issues people brought up, and correct me if I'm wrong, was it's hard to get all the cards now, so you got to have to deal with what you have, even if they don't synergize, because you're missing a card that would help your loadout, right? Is that true?
Maybe it's a legendary and stuff.
Okay. See, if the game is going to be free to play with, you know, pay to win elements, at least as a casual player, don't let me realize what I'm missing. That way I don't care.
That's how they get you to buy it, you know? They make you realize what you're missing, and then you want to buy it.
That's the thing. If I have all these useless cards that don't synergize, I've been playing for 10 hours, and I see the card I want, they would actually, oh, I didn't get that card, right?
That drives you to play more.
I feel gimped. I don't want to feel gimped.
Oh.
I don't know. For me, it feels that way.
I ain't buying what you're selling. Like
imagine you play Magic the Gathering. You have a deck with 50 cards, right? You have a blue deck.
Or Hearthstone or anything, yeah.
And the guy says, well, you need at least 60 cards to make a deck. And you got to shove in like 10 green cards. But you know where to play them. You just got to put them in there for no reason.
But that's not how, remember, if the game is well designed, even if like the common cards, you know, they can still be balanced. And they're very general cards too sometimes. It's not like they combo off each other, really. It's just your play style, you know? It's how you want to play the game is what the card's there for, really.
Okay, but if the new system in Paladins, before they changed it again, allowed you to have a functional deck, that's fine.
It does.
Then I have no problem.
Okay,
they bitched out.
All right. So moving on, we also have some other big news. I know that we've been enjoying Mu Legend whenever we play it, even though it's kind
Oh,
of
this
just
is
an
huge, yeah.
ARPG. Mu Legend is entering open beta in Korea on March 23rd. I don't know how far behind the NA EU release is going to be, but I would guess May. I'm guessing May.
I say April. Mark my words, guys. Mu Legend open beta April. That's my guess. It's happening. So April or May. I mean, May I think at the latest. They did actually pride themselves saying they had like a global. Remember the last one was like global at the same time as the Korean one. So they kind of did those the first round of closed betas like together. So if the other one's going open beta, I think it's not going to be too far behind.
Oh no, there was a Korean closed beta in like September of last year, like way before.
I'm optimistic. We're gonna get our open beta pretty quickly.
I'll say April as well. They have been good, and they're kind of aiming for a global audience from the beginning.
But yeah, it's happening. I mean, it's actually coming out, which is a lot more than we can say about a lot of other games.
Everything else on the horizon.
Oh right, they also had the one in April. That's right. Last April they had a closed beta. I'm pretty sure in Korea.
Wow.
So way before. I
mean, the game as is, we played it right. It felt perfectly responsive. Everything worked. It was nice. So I think it's at a state where they could push it out in the next month and a half.
They could, but I'm still saying May.
Right.
All right.
Time will tell. All right. Speaking of time, any last thoughts?
I mean, this bit of news came out earlier today. They're relaunching Secret World, which is a bit odd because they're not actually taking it down. They're calling it a relaunch, even though it's just, I guess it's a marketing gimmick. They're gonna push a lot more content, I guess, for it.
They're taking the Chinese approach. In China, it's very common for a game that's still running to just add a 2 at the end. And
well, I never liked that. It was so stupid. A lot of Chinese games do that.
Yeah.
It should also be noted that the relaunch is supposed to have a combat overhaul of some sort, and they're talking about adding a free portion of the game, which includes some of the story, at least some of it. I think they might have implied most of it, but I'm not entirely sure. But the story will have some free portions, is what it sounds like.
Yeah. They gained the money to revamp this game from all that money they made off Conan Exiles. Yep, remember, their stock is up like 4-fold since Conan Exiles launched.
Still haven't played this one.
And then also, I have played it. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. I never minded the combat system. I like the fact that I can move around.
Cool.
But also something that I don't think was mentioned in the original article, they're putting Anarchy and Age of Conan in maintenance mode.
Oh, really? They're just launching it on Steam and it's in maintenance mode?
Yeah.
That's
I thought that was weird too.
Yeah, that is weird.
What's the reasoning behind that?
It's old.
I didn't read that part.
And less people play it now. But Anarchy Online did come on Steam. It's actually pretty funny. You can actually pay, I think, $99 to skip to level 200 and Anarchy Online, which is fine. We've seen a lot of games implement like pay to get to near max level. But the funny thing is, when you pay that $99, you get items in your inventory that when you consume, they instantly level you up. And those are literally called heckler juices, implying that the leveling process is a heckle. And if you drink the heckler juice, you skip the heckle. I just feel like they named it so silly. You should not call it your own leveling process a heckle.
I like it. It's honesty.
Also,
we gotta touch one more thing. I gotta get one more thing in here before we call it. After, unless you got something else for Anarchy.
Oh no.
All right, Albion Online is a big one, and honestly, the reason I want to bring this up is not because the official launch date is out now, July 17th, right? This could be the first Western crowdfunded game to launch, like the big Western crowdfunded game to launch. They sold over 200,000 Founders Packs, and it's finally happening. There's gonna be no more wipes after the launch on July 17th, so you can finally start investing in your character. I think a lot of people stop playing because all these freaking wipes. But the reason I want to bring this is actually this game has a really cool, nifty little feature. And I like talking about like one feature in a game that's like fun and really well thought, well designed. And the feature I like here is the dueling system. You can actually wager with players on duels, and the winner of the duel gets the money that you wagered. And it's like it's not like I'll give it to you if I lose. No, it's like built to the game. And it's not an original idea. RuneScape has done this as well in the past, But how cool is that? It'd be like, yo, you think you're tough shit? Let's duel. You put down money. If he pussies out, you got the bigger dick.
You know, is it sad that the first thing I thought of when I heard that was what a great way for gold sellers to transfer gold.
Oh, you're right. That's actually a really good idea.
I didn't sell gold. I just lost my duel.
That's true.
They might put limits on it or something. I don't know, but I love the concept. It's such a small feature, but like I want every MMORPG to have that, right? Like, why not?
Mm-hmm.
I think any game would benefit from that. You don't have to do it, right? But like, let me talk shit and then duel someone and fucking kick their ass and take all their money. Like, that's amazing. Everyone's saying the 99% sure this game will go free to play. Hey, it was originally meant to be free to play. Now it's buy to play, and who knows what they're gonna do?
They're gonna pull a Atlas Reactor.
I wouldn't be surprised. I think the smartest way to milk money out of your player base is you launch as buy to play, and after a while you go free to play, and you get the best of both worlds. I mean, I'm not saying it's perfectly ethical, but it's the way to make the most money.
Is Albion still promising that like multi-platform play, like browser, mobile?
Oh yeah, well, it's mobile and PC.
Okay.
Yes.
I mean, it already worked when we played it. When we did a playthrough a while ago now, over a year, I think. And I had played it on my phone.
How was it on a phone? I forgot. I never tried it on a phone.
You can't kill anything, but you can harvest. The screen was a little too tiny.
So while you're taking a shit, you can go harvest resources, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's what you're gonna do in Lineage Eternal anyway. You know, the mobile client for that is made for gathering resources. Come on, you can make your shits more productive, or at least you can think you're being productive while taking a shit.
And then every time you go to take a shit, you need to have your fix.
Oh, I also as possibly a last thing, I wanted to mention this because it's kind of interesting to me. You guys know Meridian 59. It launched in like 1996.
In 1959, what are you talking about?
Or yes, 1959.
This guy, he's a joker. He's a joker.
The community has been keeping it alive for a while now, and they have official servers, but they're not really getting updated. It was open sourced a few years ago, and what happened was a few community servers came up, and this server 105, which is based on a German server that is named differently, they've been updating it and adding new things. They completely updated the client. They've overhauled the interface, and now they're adding a bunch of new content with 2.0 with patch. So it's been years since this game went open source, and it's been running for like 21 years almost, and the community is still keeping it going with major content.
It's crazy.
And I just think that that's pretty insane.
It's a 1996 game. I mean, it's nuts for what they pulled off back then. I mean, my bad. 1959. My bad. I guess that's why they did 59. It's 95 backwards. I just got that, by the way.
I don't think that's why. I think it has something to do with the lore.
What are the odds of the release date, release year, and the lore? Coincidence?
Guys,
Illuminati.
grind fest for Meridian 59.
I'm down for that one. That'd be really fun.
I can already see Gumble's excitement.
I never played the game, and I would actually have fun doing that because I like looking back at older games.
Focused.
Yeah,
And it is so hard to get into. I tried a while ago when they relaunched it after it went down for a while. Relaunched it as a free-to-play game. It had originally been subscription for the longest time. This was before it went open source too, and it is very, very hard to get into. Really hard to get into.
I do love the character faces in this trailer.
My God.
They kind of look like souls that are trapped in the game and just want to escape.
It looks like Doom, kind of, to me. The trailer I'm playing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's that same era.
Right.
That's how 3D worked back then.
But to put this in an MMORPG at the time with like the existing technology is hella impressive.
There's another one that looks very similar to this called Underlight.
I never heard about that
Keeps
one.
getting resurrected over and over, and that one's pretty cool because it has a teacher system where players write quests for other players, and you have to go back to that player and verify that you've done the quest.
I would troll the shit out of people.
I am mesmerized by this trailer, I gotta say.
There he is, the guy who was waving with the old man face. He looked so sad.
All right, well, that'll have to do for this week, guys. Stick around for post game if you're on Twitch. Fare thee well on YouTube.
Later, YouTube.
See ya.
Yeah, yeah.